about the ups and the big ups and big downs for Stampede Wrestling for Stu Hart as well. Here's a date. I'm going to tell you the date, and I want to get your reaction. December 2nd, 1980. Yeah, I can see by your... You can't see the video, obviously, on the podcast portion, but as soon as I said the date, his face lit up. December 2nd, 1983 was probably the most infamous day in Calgary Stampede or Stampede Wrestling history.
It is infamous. It was an amazing time. I remember watching it as a kid, and it was... It's essentially the wrestling version of Orson Welles' War of the Worlds. If you're
yes.
If the audience there is familiar with War of the Worlds, it's just this fiction that's perpetrated on on the public that's so realistic that everybody buys it and they think it's real, and it creates this hysteria. This is what happened in December 2nd, 1983. Yeah.
So
I can basically this was this was something that Bruce Hart promoted actually. But this is a concept Bruce had come up with. The killer, fearsome, terrifying monster heel of that time, that early 80s period in Stampede Wrestling was Bad News Allen. He was just terrifying. He'd torn through the Dynamite Kid. He'd torn through Bret Hart. He had this big, intimidating, loud, angry presence when he would be on TV. He was just a terrifying heel of his day. And they had the concept to bring in the terrifying heel of yesteryear, which was Archie the Stomper Goldie, who was like just this huge heel in the late 60s and early 70s in Stampede, and bring him in and pit them against each other. It was going to be this King Kong versus Godzilla situation. But first, they brought them in as a team. They brought them in as this tag team, and the whole conceit was that Archie the Stomper was going to bring his kid with him, his young green kid, Jeff Goldie. It wasn't really his kid, but they brought in this
kid, yeah.
Yeah, kayfabe. They brought in this guy that was supposedly the son of Archie the Stomper Goldie, Jeff Goldie, who he's breaking his son Jeff into the business, and he's going to team up with Bad News Allen. And it was an amazing match, and that Bad News Allen had such heat. The crowd hated him. They were terrified of him. They hated him, and so it was. I believe it was Bret Hart, Davey Boy Smith, and this Japanese wrestler who they were passing off as a First Nations wrestler.
Was Sonny Two Rivers? Yes.
Yeah, Sonny. He was good, and I used to love watching him. And so there was those three against Archie the Stomper, Jeff Goldie, and Bad News Allen. At one point in the match, Bad News Allen turns on Archie the Stomper. He does the heel turn, betrays him, stabs him in the back essentially. Another wrestler, Kerry Brown, comes in, and one of the managers, Wakamatsu, and they wind up tying Archie the Stomper up in the corner, essentially, knocking him out and tying him up. And Archie the Stomper takes Jeff Goldie out throws him out of the ring, pile drives him on the concrete in front of the ring, and the crowd goes and supposedly cripples him. That was the whole thing.
They did an ambulance angle out of this.
Yeah, the ambulance comes in. They broke his neck. The crowd, and it was such an amazing thing the way they pulled it off. But the crowd went absolutely bananas. You can see a bit of it on YouTube. There was actually a riot. Some old man hit Bad News Allen with his cane, and Allen actually grabbed him by the throat and throttled him. And he goes, "Don't you touch me, you old bastard!" And it was this crazy thing. The crowd went absolutely nuts. And the Hearts, they never clued. Here was a big way they went wrong. They never clued Ed Whalen, the announcer, in on this. And Ed Whalen often headbutted with the Hearts and fought with the Hearts because he wanted wrestling to be family entertainment. When it got too violent, he threatened to walk on many occasions, and he would always edit the violent stuff off TV, and he'd really fight a lot with Bruce Hart about this kind of stuff. So anyway, there's a riot in the Victoria Pavilion. Archie, Bad News Allen comes out and does this terrifying promo about he's taunting the Stomper. I crippled your kid. I helped him die. It was just riveting. And the crowd, as I say, the crowd's just going bananas. And then at the end of it, everybody's cleared out, and just the Stomper comes in there. It's Archie the Stomper and Ed Whalen. A little spotlight on the ring. The whole Victoria Pavilion's dark. They're the only two guys there in the Victoria Pavilion. And Stomper's also this loud, intimidating, psychopath on the mic usually. This time he's somber. he's sad, he's expressing regret that he brought his son into this